Hi, my name is Joanie'S. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't listened to me before, you can also go to Joani'sWhiteLightHealing.com to find out more about my backstory. I did not believe in any of this. I thought it was a hoax until my abilities started coming in around 2003, 4, 5. I'm a conventionally trained social worker, and I do not do this anymore. As a result of my newfound abilities, it would be out of the scope of practice to be doing anything of that nature. How could you tell someone who has schizophrenia that the voices are not mind tricks, but instead they have entities and they need an exorcism? That wouldn't be something that's ethical now, would it? So with that being said, if you're interested in a reading or a healing, please feel free to contact me. I do Skype and I do Facebook and I do FaceTime and phone sessions for folks who are not local to North Central New Jersey. There are no timestamps on this video. Spirit knows when and who will be watching. So if you do not watch on June 15, 2020, when this video is being made, it probably will resonate. If it doesn't, I suggest putting it on the shelf. I bring in the highest of Christ-like consciousness. That would include archangels and angels, departed ones and guides, star beings, elementals, consciousnesses, ascended masters, star beings. Let's see if there's more to share. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and press the all bell icon. Like, share, and comment below. If you have any requests for future videos, please comment under any video, and I would gladly be going in for you. Gladly. I love that. You could find me on Twitter and SoundCloud. You could find me on LinkedIn. On Facebook, please like my Joanie'S White Light Healing fan page. And if you're interested in friending, message me and tell me how you found me. So today we're going to be doing a follow-up to pet communication. Pet companions. I do the pet communication. I've been doing quite a bit of that lately. So someone wrote in and they said, wow, this is a very interesting video. I would love to know, do animals come back as the same animal? Are dogs always dogs, etc.? I am very much a dog person and feel much closer to dogs than other animals, though I do have a soft spot for most animals regardless. So I'm going to be going in regarding answering this person's questions, and I'm going to be offering more what I didn't share before. So the first question is, do animals come back as the same animal? They can come back as the same animal, but since anything is possible, did you know that? Anything is possible. Keep that in mind when you're creating your movie. Animals can choose to be another type of animal. So yesterday I did a reading for a couple whose two cats aren't getting along, and one is downstairs and the other is upstairs. And in another lifetime, they were amusement park panthers, and one was the featured act and the other one was the substitute, the backup, and there was jealousy between the two of them, specifically the sub wanting to be the featured act in the home. And for this time round, the substitute came in second. It was the second cat in the home, not the first, not the featured animal yet again, hence their war. So we go from cat to panther. I have done readings where there's a dog who's been all different types of animals. Oh my goodness. If you're out there watching, there's a client friend of mine who I'm going to flag to watch this. Maybe she'll comment below and write down in the comments all the different animals that her dog was. That'll help many of you understand how it's possible. I think they took notes. So I'll get that going. I'm hoping that she's on YouTube and can do that for us. So why would an animal do that? For fun, for adventure. Depending on the essence of that soul and what animal they are identifying with, they might go for one that is quite predatory. They might want to learn by opposites, and if they have a predatory nature, they might become like a very quiet bird or bunny rabbit or something very passive. They might want to learn about large and small, so you might have the elephant and then you might have the little mite. that this soul becomes. Oftentimes they stay true to their nature, but there's a lot of play involved, and I think it has to do with the soul's personality, their essence, and what they are curious about. So in this Earth School here, animals keep it very simple. So they don't complicate things the way we humans do. So they're basically doing the food, clothing, shelter. So they're looking for their food, they're mating, they're reproducing, they're hunting, they're nesting, they're loving and playing, they're sleeping, going to the bathroom, and dying. So that's the animal's life. Back in terms of animals being in other forms, I'm going to see what Spirit has to say regarding that. It's interesting. They gave me the majestic crocodile, so I saw the majesty in the crocodile, but they were focusing on the feeling of majesty. So you might have a crocodile who is working on pride, and that they might go into another lifetime and choose to be another type of animal where they're looking for the majesty. They're looking for actually the feeling, not necessarily the look. So if there is a bird that has majesty, that's the reincarnation hope, or a relive, is to engender that feeling, to bring that up, and might be a deepening of self, a knowing about that concept. It might be being of service for others around them in order for them to then engender that feeling as well. So I didn't bring that up. Joanie didn't bring that up. I've gone into channel, and we've got that there's also a feeling that is being fostered, engendered, sought after, repeated, for learning's sake and for sharing's sake. I'm going to see what else Spirit has to say regarding animals coming in a same or other. Some souls are tired. Some animal souls are tired, and they say, I don't want to do this. I'm really, really tired. And then their guides would say, why don't you just try this, or just do this, just try this, it'll help. And then it's done. And whether it's a goat or sheep or a duck, and that the animal will either replay or try out a simple, humble animal to give them comfort. It's very poignant and healing. So they might not come in as the same animal. Maybe the animal was a wolf and they're very tired and there was a lot of hunting involved. So they'll come in and they'll be just the shepherd dog that's helping the sheep move from one area to another for grazing. And it's more peaceful than the wolf. So keep that in mind, that the animal might be a tired one that was being encouraged by their respective guides to try out an animal that gives them harmony and peace and is healing for them in that next lifetime. Okay, are dogs always dogs? As well, that refers back to the last question. Dogs are not always dogs. I believe from what I've seen in healings is that a dog soul is a dog soul, yet they could come in and reincarnate as another. I do believe it's been my experience when I've gone in regarding different animals that they are that animal, like the horse is the horse or the skunk is the skunk. That is their true essence. Yet I have in fact gone in where I see like the monkey, and the monkey is playing the part of the monkey, but they're not truly a monkey. They're another animal that's playing the part of monkey here. So I do believe that every animal has a true essence of what they are, yet it's, I guess, up to the channel or the intuitive to go in to see whether in fact that animal is playing the part of who they truly are, or whether they are incarnated into another animal species for learning's sake, being of service, finding peace, finding balance. Okay. And then this person said, I found I'm very much a dog person and feel much closer to dogs than other animals. Okay, so if you find that you have an affinity to one animal over another, chances are you've either known that animal before or you've tended to that species before. This is not rocket science. So this isn't Joni being prophetic. It would make sense that if you are a cat person or a dog person or a gerbil person, you've tended to these spirits, these species in past lives. I'm going to go in for more regarding why a person would be either a dog person or a cat person. And if you have a pet that's not dog or cat, let's say it's horse or bunny, and that's where you gravitate, just apply this information there. So I'm going to go in and see what Spirit has to say as well. Usually has to do with other lifetimes. So if you've had wonderful lifetimes with a certain animal and your heart is full, chances are there's a bleed through effect, and you're bringing that into this lifetime, and you're trying to bring that feeling up again, and that you're connecting very much with the love that you experienced with that other animal. So I see the prairie woman, and I see the dog that's just right by her side as she's going to the cow. Or out in the field, I see some birds and they're just flying around on the farm, and it's just lovely. It's gorgeous. And that the person wants the dog from the prairie lifetime, so they find another dog. Or the farmer that was out with the birds flying all around them and just giving them such peace that they want a bird in the house. They're looking for a bird. They want a pet bird in this other lifetime. So it's heart-centered, and it's pulling love from the other lifetime into this one. It's memories. It's conjuring up the wonderful sensation that you had in another lifetime here. I'm going to see if there's more regarding that. Well, it has to also do with play. So if you have a playful animal, let's say it's a dog, if you're more of a playful person or you're needing playfulness, you're going to go towards an animal that gives you that type of a sensation. Cats tend to be a little more to themselves, although there are playful cats. But if you do not need play or want play, and if you want companionship that's more passive and sedate, you might choose the cat. So it also does have to do with the owner's need. And their personality as well. I'm going to see whether there's more to bring in regarding pets that I did not share from the last video. Here's one. You might have killed animals in another lifetime. And as a result of what you did in the other lifetimes, it could have been hunting. It could have been for slaughterhouse, for meat purposes. It could have been insanity, abuse, whatever the case. You could choose to balance karma by tending to an animal because you had guilt and shame. Or even confusion. How could I do that? We're not to kill other souls, but I'm hungry, but we're hunters. And that you have had difficulty coming to terms with the fact that you did what you did. Now, I'm not judging regarding this. We play victimizer and victim in this Earth School for Soul Growth Opportunity. Let's do a healing regarding any of you that consider that maybe you did that in other lifetimes. I would say that most of us have been hunters or have killed at least one animal in our lifetime, and that would be huge if we participate together as a collective regarding the balancing, the healing of the karma regarding killing of animals in other lifetimes. Across time and space, forwards and backwards across all generations, where we have killed animals, whether it was for sport, whether it was for food, whether it was out of abuse or insanity. And we ball them all up, all those lifetimes, and we say inside, I forgive myself. I forgive everyone and everything. Please, all of you, forgive me because I had unforgiveness towards you. Thank God for these life lessons. And when I say God, I mean the all, the I am, the Godhead, all of us. Have a sip of water. Between now and when you go to sleep, that'll help flush negative energies through the physical body. So back to this harm, the harm of animals. So we come in, and by taking in a pet, the caring of, the loving on, the allowing from birth to death is a way of balancing karma. There are people that didn't understand animals and were callous and unfeeling. And that's another reason why someone might take in a pet, because they lacked empathy. They didn't understand, and by having an animal with them to be their friend, and where they had to care for them, feed them, and give them shelter, take care of their health, that's huge. That's surely an opportunity to develop empathy and compassion. I'm going to go in for more regarding anything regarding pet companions. Well, they want me to talk about animals that they have had that have killed another animal. That there was violence and that the animal was put down because it killed another. So some of you might feel shame because you had a pet that killed another. It's very important for you to know this is not you, this is the animal, and that sometimes we anticipate things, but we're not quite sure whether we're to euthanize them, whether we're to give them back to a shelter, whether we're to consult with a professional regarding what to do. But you need to forgive yourself. That is the most important thing, is that you need to forgive yourself. And that many times animals who are violent and have killed others have karma, and that they're working through things, and obviously it's not balanced if they're killing another. Sometimes they've been killed, so now they're killing, or they killed because they've killed before. Whatever the case, it's for them to also learn life lessons. But if you've taken on any of this and now you're blaming yourself, you're incurring karma as well. So I highly suggest that you forgive yourself, and I suggest you forgive the animal too. And if you have euthanized an animal as a result of their killing, that's a very difficult decision to make. And now someone might say, well, that's not so difficult. That's really easy. Chop, chop. So for some it is difficult, and others it's not. But whatever the case, it is a soul that you're putting down. And everything is divinely ordered. And when that soul, that animal returns home, the veil is lifted. They are at peace, and they will understand clearly what their soul contracts were, and they'll see their movie of their birth to death and what transpired, and then their respective guides will ask them, so what can you learn from this incarnation that you just had? I'm going to go back in for more about the pets. I see that some of you adopted animals that don't have a clear medical history, or you don't know the birth history of the mother and the father, and you don't know much about them, and that you're trying to figure out what to do. You don't quite know necessarily when they were born, or maternal and paternal parents, and what they're bringing to the table. And then they're not well. You don't have to know. Okay, you're being angelic already for taking in an animal as a rescue, or adoption, where you just don't know, and you don't have to know. So give yourself that. You don't have to know the history of this animal. And that if you see others that are lucky, well, they're the lucky ones because they know they have something else that's a challenge. Everyone has their challenge. So if you think that people have it squeaky clean with their pet, I've never heard of that before. I have never heard of a squeaky clean story. And if for some reason there's a squeaky clean, smooth story with someone's pet, it means there's something else going on in another aspect of their life that is a challenge for them. So stop looking elsewhere, looking at another person's pet and how easy they have it, and how, oh, well, I don't know how old they are or why they hiccup and what happened to their mother and father before they were born. I don't know their medical history, but they do. Stop taking others' inventory. Focus on yourself. Everyone has their own journey. You can never ever compare yourself to another, or your animal to another's animal. It's just impossible, and it's not worth it. It's a waste of oxygen and time and neurons firing. Going back in. Regarding caretaking and your pets, do the best that you can. You're a hero already. Period. You're a hero. Know you're a hero. Do the best you can. And if you don't know something, ask. Do your research and ask around. There are enough people who are experts regarding animals. You'll find tons of information, and then make the best decision that you can. Regarding animals that leave very soon, I think I shared that before. I see that animals show themselves to you in different forms. So you're going to have people that are going to be having your animal speak through the person. I've channeled that before. I was at a psychic gallery at Drew University, and there was a young man whose poodle was bringing in his departed friend who was murdered. And that was just outrageous. So if you find that your friend or colleague or family member is saying something, and you stop for a second and you think that there's something very profound here, it might just be that your departed pet has shared something with you. Look for the signs. And I'm about to sneeze, and that's truth. Excuse me, that's truth, and that could have been the poodle. Or it could have been the departed friend. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Going back in. Again, look for the signs. There's a lot around. Your departed pet talks to you a lot. So if you feel a whoosh of air, if you sense something, if you hear bells, little tinkles, if you feel a little whoosh down by your leg, or you feel a presence on your lap or your heart or something in your hair, chances are your animal's there and talking to you. Animal souls don't die. They are eternal, just as are human souls. All souls do not die. They are eternal. So if you're worried about a soul vanishing into thin air, no. The animal remains in existence for eternity. Don't push your animal and know its limits. So if you're a very gregarious person and you're very high energy and your animal is low key, don't make your animal like you. Don't push it to the limit. Okay? You need to take a look at whether you're pushing your pet to be like you. Your pet doesn't have to be like you. And there's probably a very good reason why it's the opposite. So it's giving you the mirror image of, don't force me to be like you. I am who I am. You might have had a parent that was trying to Now you're projecting that onto your animal. So it's giving you the opportunity to accept who you are and accept difference. Regarding feeding, I see they're showing me here also, if you're babying your animal and you're not giving your animal a chance to breathe and to have independence, you might have had a very smothering parent or caregiver, and you might be doing that to your animal. So watch that. If you're babying your pet, that's like babying a child, and they start growing up. They don't want to be babied anymore. So that becomes abusive, smothering, and stifling. And if your animal retreats, is whimpering, or backs up when you're pushing or smothering, that's a lesson for you. And if you start getting biting and little nips, that's a message. Change your way, mom. Change your way, dad. Change your way, bro. It's not working. Look at yourself. I've been trying to tell you, and now it's getting nasty, so stop this. So our animals give us the opportunity to work through issues with the people that are the humans that are in our life. We get to do that work through with them. So watch for that. If you have selfishness issues and you're not giving your animal the time, it's going to feel neglected. Take a look and see whether you were neglected and now you're a gimme, gimme, and all you want is its unconditional love, but you won't give it anything. Work on your stuff because it's incurring karma. Neglect is like abuse. Abuse can be, it could be outward or it could be inward. Neglect is like abandonment. It's where you're not giving it your time and attention, and that is heinous. That's a crime. Work on how you might have been neglected and whether you are attending to your animal appropriately and sufficiently. Basically, this has to do with the balance. So when you are in balance, when you are in that center, then you are able to offer your beloved pet well. That's the goal. Just enough and more, not over anything. Now also think about this too. If you spoil your animal, they could get lazy. If you spoil your animal, they could expect it. So then when there are hard times, then what? Then they're screwed and you're screwed. That won't work. Finding the balance is beautiful. It's just beautiful. Some people might disagree and say, well, my animal, it deserves to be spoiled. I can't change my channeling and my knowing from what I've learned in spiritual literature and the channelings. Balance is the harmony of the universe, and that when an animal is spoiled, it expects it and it has a false sense of self. When a person is spoiled, they expect it and they end up with a false sense of self. Then it becomes me related. Then they don't necessarily learn because it's handed to them all the time on a silver platter. It's harmful to a person, and I believe it's harmful to a pet as well. I'm going to see if there's more. I know we're all over the place, but that's what happens where I just keep retrieving and retrieving anything I can regarding pets. If you have lost a pet and you have difficulty moving on, you need to, at some point, let go. You need to know that the animal was blessed to be with you, that whether it was a short, medium, or long stay, it is a blessing that you were together. And that the animal is home and fine, probably prancing around or sleeping or flying or crawling, jumping, whatever, walking, lumbering, whatever type of animal it is, it's just fine. It's home. It's at peace. Might have reincarnated somewhere else. Point is, There was a reason for every season and the two of you met up to have it be exactly the way it was. Now, you can talk to your pet in the ethers. They know. They are responding as well. You might not know, but your higher self does. Expect miracles. That they wanted me to say that. So it could be messages, it could be signs. And if you're looking for a new pet to come in, I had read somewhere, I don't know if this is a truism, that if your pet passes within 6 months, if you adopt again, you might be adopting that soul again. But I wouldn't hold myself to that because I've never gone in to see whether that in fact is so. But I did read that somewhere. Do your grief work. Bless the arrangement that you had with the soul. Work through your grief and move on. And if you do adopt another pet, whether it's the same species or another type of pet, go in with a sense of adventure and comparing that animal to the other and always wishing that the new pet was like the old pet. That isn't fair to the new one. You need to only do the adoption when you are ready and when you are excited about caring and loving for a new animal. So I'm going to see if there's anything left for you regarding pets. Some of you don't want to meet a mate. You don't want a relationship, and the pet serves as the mate. And that's fine and good if you have no interest whatsoever in being with anyone. But if you have sadness, if you have depression, if you have a longing of any kind, and the pet is not satisfying that, you need to go inside and ask yourself what you're looking for. Are you really, truly happy with the animal and not a relationship? And if you are, and you definitely don't want a person in your life as a companion, then you need to do some inner work regarding what you're looking for. And is it adventure? Is it excitement? Is it stimulation? Some people grow old with their animals and they're tired, and then they kind of get narrow and bleak and boring and lazy and inward and reclusive. Go inside and do your personal work and see what would make you happy. It's the goal is to find peace and to find that inner joy, and that your pet would take care of, I hope, would take care of some of that. But if you haven't found that and you don't want a relationship with someone, what are you looking for? What truly would make you happy? If therapy is indicated, go for some counseling. If you're finding that the cat, the dog, the fish, the bird just doesn't cut it anymore, and you're finding that you're melancholy. I hope this video channeled information and a healing assisted. And it was such a pleasure. I didn't expect to be doing a two-parter on pet companions. Again, sip water between now and when you go to sleep. I think that healing regarding having killed animals in other lifetimes is huge for us all. I participated in that too because I believe we all in one way or another have. And I will see you again in future videos. You take care. Bye, y'all.